Hey everyone, I hope you're having a great Monday. Thankfully, the weather's a lot quieter than it was on Friday, but thanks for joining us. And we've got a halo around the moon. How about that, Laura? Well, that signifies that rain is coming really soon. And well, that's what we've got tomorrow for Election Day. Hey, Josh, what's going on? Josh is, I know, at the game. I've been watching the game. Looks like they're picking it up in the second half, so things are looking a little bit better for the Razorbacks. My stream just stopped, so I wanted to kind of catch it in with the game. But it looks like the Razorbacks are kind of pouring it on in the second half. They got a lot better towards the end of the first half. So I hope you're having a good one. I doubt you can hear anything. Looks like that place is rocking pretty good. And by the way, if you want to watch the game, it's on SEC Plus. Now, of course, I can't find it, but good on the stream. But anyways, there we are. Got it. All right, we're back to loaded here. No kidding, man. Well, it's the first game. There's going to be a little bit of issues, and Nick Smith isn't playing as well. So 49-33 is what I've got. Of course, keep in mind that's way behind. So, hey, let's talk about some stuff. Let's talk about first of all the eclipse. And someone said, looking forward to the details for the blood moon. So yeah, blood moon is essentially a total lunar eclipse. Let's talk about it and see what's going on with our weather graphics. And you're going to see that we've got this system that's coming in that's going to bring us a little bit of cloud cover. So why does a total lunar eclipse happen? Well, that's pretty easy. But if you don't know, the Earth gets in between the sun and the moon because the sunlight directly to the moon is blocked by the Earth and the Earth's shadow is cast on the moon. And on the periphery of the Earth's atmosphere, just like a sunset, that red light is cast down on the moon. So that's why it gives that blood red color. Now, here's some of the times with this. This is a graphic that I made to let you know exactly where to look and what it's going to look like. And so you're going to see here, looking west-northwest, that the partial eclipse begins at 3:09 a.m. So early morning. And Eric says, thank goodness for the rain and thunderstorms. Powerball jackpot has peaked. So if Eric wins the Powerball jackpot, I doubt he'll be sleeping. So you can check out the eclipse. But 3:09 a.m. is going to be that time. Now, you're starting to look in the west-southwest sky, but it'll be setting in the west-northwest sky. And yes, you'll be able to look at this with the naked eye. Solar eclipses, though, let me tell you something. Solar eclipse and total lunar eclipse are two different things, completely different things. One is way more spectacular than the other. A total solar eclipse will blow your mind. Total lunar eclipse, you might be like, that was cool, but meh, kind of meh. That's what you might say. So the total eclipse is going to begin at 4:16. Now let me step through this again. So the moon will, there's actually, believe it or not, there's two eclipses. There's the penumbra eclipse, and then there's the umbra eclipse. So the penumbra is the lighter shadow, and I'm telling you, don't even get up for it. It's not worth it. You'll see the moon slightly darkening. It's barely anything noticeable. It's not very cool. Now the umbra eclipse, that's when the darker shadow happens, and you can see that that's going to start eating away at the moon. It looks like the moon disappears. So that starts at approximately, as you see, 3:09. Still, you don't want to get up that early. Now, as we go into closer to 4:16, you probably want to get up right around 4 o'clock in the morning if you're going to get up early. Now, personally, I'm going to get up early. And if there's cloud cover, I'm going to say, forget about it. Good night. I'm not worrying about it. It's basically forget it with the cloud cover. But I'll look and I'll see if the clouds clear out. There's a slight chance that maybe it does clear out. So as we tick away the time, now you got maximum eclipse. And I'll show you another graphic that kind of explains this. But maximum eclipse is when the moon is kind of in the heart of the Earth's shadow. So it's as deep in the Earth's shadow as it will get. And that means it turns kind of like a darkish red, but it happens very slowly. As you saw the times, I mean, look at this, from 3:09 to 4:59. So the total eclipse will be from 4:16 to 5:41. So that's several minutes. I mean, a long, long time. And then the total eclipse ends, and then you'll see it's not the same like a total solar eclipse, but you'll start to see the moon get back to its normal color. And then the umbral shadow will start moving away. The partial eclipse ends at 6:49, and the moon sets at 6:55. Now, if you're wondering where to look at this is kind of a little bit of a graphic. Now, this is kind of what the moon's going to look like tomorrow morning if we don't see any clearing. It's kind of like it'll appear at times and then it'll get covered up at times. And someone said they had a really awesome halo around the moon. Laura said, just tagged you in a pic. I'll check that out. I'll definitely share that too. But this is kind of the times that you're looking at here. So just to let you know, it's going to be about 42.5 degrees above the horizon at 3:09. So it's a little higher in the sky. Nice dunk by the Razorbacks there. Of course, I'm at 12:56 left in the second half. Total eclipse begins 4:16, as you saw. 4:59, it's about 21 degrees up. Now, here's my concern. So if the moon was directly overhead, that might be a little bit better for visibility. But because it's not directly overhead, that may cause limited viewing, just to let you know. So, yeah, especially when you're looking along the horizon, the cloud cover is going to be a little thicker, especially off to the west. And I'll show you that forecast. So at 5:41, the eclipse, when it ends, is only going to be 13 degrees above the horizon. And then at moonset, obviously, it drops below the horizon. So there's some of the graphics for you. Now, what about the cloud cover? So the HRRR model, if you're an eclipse watcher, is your friend. Now, that would be if the moon was directly overhead. But again, it's not. It's going to appear in the western sky, and we're going to be looking through these clouds. Now, I don't think these clouds are going to completely block out the moon, but it'll definitely not be a clear view. Now, there are ways to stream the total lunar eclipse, by the way, not solar eclipse. But anyways, I love solar. Solar is awesome. Ring of Fire. Well, Joshua, there's actually two types of eclipses, solar eclipses. There's the Ring of Fire, which is called an annular eclipse. There's one happening in October of next year. It's either October or November, but it's late 2023. And those are okay, but the total solar eclipse is the best. So lunar eclipse is great. Don't get me wrong if it's your first time seeing one, but solar, oh my gosh, it's so much better. Yes, it absolutely is. No doubt about that. I've got some other graphics for you just to let you know about the eclipse and what you can experience. But there's that cloud cover, and you can kind of see how the clouds are trying to clear out some. So here's a look at so this is kind of what it looks like with the different types of timing. So 2:02 is when the penumbral eclipse starts. So that's the lighter shadow, and you'll see like the Earth like slightly gets darker. You can barely see it. This, by the way, is almost exactly what the moon would look like with the naked eye. Then you start to see it getting eaten alive, and then all of a sudden it doesn't just appear dramatically, kind of like a solar eclipse, but it'll start getting that reddish hue. That's the blood moon. And maximum eclipse is about 5 o'clock. So you can see the times. That's how it's going to cross through the Earth's umbra. And then you'll see that it starts to appear again. And at 6:49, the eclipse basically comes to an end. At 6:55, the moon sets while we're in the penumbral eclipse ending. So it's not even close to totally done, but the majority of the show you get to see. Have you ever seen what a lunar eclipse looks like from the Earth? Why it all is red? So this is essentially kind of a cool graphic, but this is what it would look like if you were on the moon. So the Earth is obviously dark because the sun is behind it. So it's kind of like a total solar eclipse if you're on the moon, which nobody's there right now. But the sunset colors around the Earth's atmosphere will give it that reddish hue. And so it's like a 360-degree sunset around the horizon. Kind of cool. That's what it would essentially look like. Reason for the two shadows is, again, you got the sunlight. And of course, the sun is way bigger than the Earth, as you know, way, way bigger than the Earth. And so, when you have the sunlight's coming from all different directions. So you get the partial shadow of the Earth and then the full shadow. It's kind of like if you shine a block of, a flashlight, you'll see a lighter shadow and a darker shadow. But anyways, that's the reason for the total lunar eclipse and the two different shadows. So, all right. let's talk about the system that came in on November 4th on that Friday. It was a crazy storm system, wasn't it? But many of you watched the stream, many of you watched the severe weather coverage, and I appreciate that. I want to show you the tornado tracks, by the way, the very latest on the tornado tracks. And so we actually got these from the Weather Service. And so we're going to start off, first of all, with the Hanobi tornado. And so you're going to see this right here as it loads up. Stand by and I'll show you. So we got two damage paths that are currently in the books, according to the National Weather Service in Tulsa. So we got the Hanobi, which is in extreme southwestern Lafleur County. So let's check this out. This is what we've got for the damage. It's EF1. So it started at 5:54 p.m. and then 6:06 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Now check out the width. Holy cow. 4,800 feet, nearly a mile wide tornado. Thankfully in a fairly rural area, but it did do damage to some homes. And so it touched down southwest of Hanobi. And that is the exact damage path. So, and there's all the information on it. Now, EF2 is 111 miles an hour. So this was basically nearly an EF2. It was it was an upper end weak EF1. Now, weak is because EF0, EF1 is, essentially the categories. But here's what I want to do. Let's check out the radar and let's match this up with how the radar did on Mega Doppler. And so I've got some adjusting to do on some of the graphics and some of the banners. But here's what we had on Mega Doppler. I've loaded the archive radar data. Ooh, Muss is not happy about something, but it's 5638. I mean, they're nearly up by 20 points. So let's check out the time. By the way, don't pay attention to the timestamp. Oh, that moves. That shouldn't move. Okay, well, I'll take care of that. So here's a look at the timestamp. And I'll let you know this is basically 4:30 in the afternoon. So the tornado touches down as we go back to our graphic at 5:54. 5:54 p.m. So let's get to 5:54 p.m. And Pickens had a tornado too. All right, so I'm going to do a split screen on this. We're going to do 2 panels. We're going to do the velocity image on the right side. So you can see it's kind of organizing, but it hasn't quite touched down yet. This, by the way, that tornado happened at, well, it actually was on the ground, but then it lifted. And now here comes the new one. Now, keep in mind that the area that they were surveying was extremely rural. So we're going to get back to Mega Doppler without the camera so you can see everything. And so there's Hanobi. And at this point right there, it's essentially on the ground. This, by the way, is 5:52. And if we look at the correlation coefficient, it does appear there is some damage. And then there's that product, the tornado detector. Amazing, amazing product. Also, you can see the tornado vortex signature with the probability of it likely being on the ground. Now, something interesting is this says that happened at 5:52, and the tornado time is 5:54. So I wonder if it was on the ground just a little bit early. So it's a possibility. But anyways, we will move along in time. There's the damage. Now we'll look at how good this does. Okay, so there's Hanobi. Go back to this. We'll look at Hanobi, and then there's State Highway 144. So it touched down just southwest of State Highway 144, which, by the way, if we go back to this graphic, this is 144 right here. And so State Highway 144 right in this area. So there it is coming across. And look at that. It's got the track just southeast of Hanobi. And if we look, there's the radar confirmation just southeast of Hanobi. And this was basically going across I-40, 144. Now, this is a great example of how the tornado isn't exactly where the debris signature shows up. Yeah, it's pretty close actually on this one. But here's an example out. It looks like the center of the circulation is a little bit to the east. Now, this is a good reminder that this radar beam is up. It's up about 4,800 feet above the ground. So what does that mean? That means that the actual tilt of the radar, this tornado is a little bit east of there, because of the low level wind shear out of the southeast. So, man, North Dakota State just came back a little bit. I have tried WSB3, doesn't have anything like this tornado detection thing. This is pretty incredible. And this is an algorithm that is proprietary to this software. So now this is kind of cool. You can see how this debris starts spreading out. That white, by the way, is the debris. And at this point, the debris kind of becomes elongated. This is at 504, excuse me, 604. So we got 554 to 604. And now you can see how it looks like it's kind of weakened and it doesn't look like it's as clear of a signal. So we go back to Mega Doppler. I'll show you this. And there you see that yes on the ground and then all of a sudden lifts. And that's exactly the time that the tornado tends to weaken and lifts. And look, once it's gone and it doesn't show up. Then you can see that the storm kind of cycles again. And now it's about to put down another tornado. And this is the one that goes through Heavener, of course. And if we go back in time, we're going to look at the time of the Heavener tornado. So let's bring that up. And then I'm going to show you this cold snap that's coming, by the way. So Radar Omega is good too. And I'm not as well versed with Radar Omega, but you're never going to get this implemented in WSB3 unless they do their own math. The algorithm is incredible, Jeremy. It really, truly is. And we put it to the test too. We really did. We put it majorly to the test. All right, now let's look at the Heavener tornado because this one happened really fast and just narrowly missed downtown Heavener. So we'll go back to this and you'll get to see this. So here's Mega Doppler with the Heavener tornado. And we want to go at the exact time. So here is a look at essentially southeast of Heavener, 6:33. And that's what time the tornado touched down. Note it. I mean, look at the Weather Service, what they had to encounter going through Benson Lane. And so you can see that storm system going northeast and that tornado going northeast. And then it was like, I mean, come on, that terrain is rough and rugged. Poto Mountain, yet the tornado continued on that and up and down those hills. So 6:33 to 6:41. Let's check out and see how well this system did. So here is 6:32. Now, something interesting, there's no debris showing up. When we go to the CC, there's no debris showing up. We go to the velocity, it's starting to increase in intensity. So remember, CC is great. The correlation coefficient is great, but you have to remember that means the tornado is already on the ground. So it's not much of a warning. If it's observed and becomes an observed tornado, no, Washington and Crawford County are not under burn bans. In fact, the only burn bans are in extreme southern Arkansas. You have to remember that, yeah, the even the tornado detection is great, the tornado detector, but the problem is that it's already on the ground, so it's got to loft that debris high enough for the radar to pick it up. So it's already on the ground at this point. But we look at that tornado detector and it doesn't show anything. Of course, the next image, bam, it will. And there it is. That's the debris in the tornado. But you can't just look at that and then start worrying about the storm. It's already on the ground at that point. So while this is a great tool, you have to know ahead of time that this thing is going to touch down, and there's the circulation really starting to crank up. Then you can see it really cranks up, and then it kind of goes northeast. Now, another thing to note too is with this debris signature, I mean, that's a pretty easy and easily identified correlation coefficient drop, a CC drop. There's the debris again. Now, look at when it gets north of Poto Mountain as it's approaching. This is Highway 83. So we look here. Here's Highway 83 when we go back to our full screen. And so it doesn't quite make it to Highway 83. Of course, the terrain's pretty rugged and it might be tough to follow. It'd be better to do that with a drone, but you get the idea that this debris starts spreading out and doesn't become it's not a solid ball anymore. It's not a round debris. It's kind of spread out. Well, that tells you that the tornado probably lifted, and so the debris is still in the air. But anyways, those are just kind of some of the things that we looked at, and so a bunch of stuff with that. Yeah, pollen count didn't happen, obviously because of the tornadoes, and I don't think they're sending much anymore because everything's kind of low, Alex. So, all right, next thing is the cold air, and that's blasting in. So we got a major cold front that's coming, and that happens on Thursday night into Friday morning. This cold front's really going to drop the temperatures big time. In fact, if we look at the extended outlook, Alex, we already talked about tonight's eclipse, so you're going to have to watch the review on this or watch the replay. We went through that in detail. 73, 76, 70 on Thursday, Friday in the mid to upper 40s, Friday through Monday. And so that is a pretty big temperature drop. The reason for that big temperature drop, we got this large system that's coming in from the west. You can actually see it. And there it is. Powerful systems going to bring some rain off to the west. And so there's the up level system. This is going to bring some rain Thursday night into Friday, and then a massive temperature drop. In fact, when we look at the 8 to 14 day outlook, even the 6 to 10 day outlook and the 8 to 14 day outlook. Oh, I hear you, Alex. Yeah, no worries, man. Speaking of late to the game, looks like the Razorbacks are going to probably pull this one off. It's 6 minutes left, and they're 63-49. But look at that. Big time cold, much colder than normal. November 13th through the 17th. And then the 8 to 14 day outlook, much colder than normal as well. That's November 15th through the 21st. So that is some cold weather that's coming our way. And as far as precipitation is concerned, there's a chance that maybe mid to late week next week, we might be able to see that. Eileen, do I need to drain my lawn irrigation now? You don't need to do it now, but you'll need to do it before Friday night. Friday night, going to be pretty cold. So, Alex, only worry about the eclipse at about 4 o'clock in the morning is the cloud cover, and we talked about that in detail. Of course, not all models show that little bit of clearing. I'm a little concerned, especially since it's on the western horizon. We may not get to see it, and the farther west you go and lower out in the horizon, you got more cloud cover. So if we go to these graphics, there you can see it right there, showing quite a bit of cloud cover moving in. And a little bit of rain for election day, too, tomorrow morning. I would not be surprised if there's some rain coming for parts of the western parts of the viewing area. So I definitely think we see that. And one last thing for the European model, let's see if there's any travel. I don't think there's going to be any travel issues on Sunday. It's a system coming in. Nah, nothing going on Sunday. Now, maybe late next week, you can start to see some cold weather trying to move in. The models have kind of been all over the place on this, but that's getting closer. That's in the Western Plains mid to late week next week, and another cold front could be coming in. So we've got some chilly weather. All right, guys. Well, that about does it for this Facebook Live. I think I might have lost most of my viewing audience, but I just kind of wanted to geek out with the tornado on November 4th and look at the track and then compare it to compare it to the radar. No, we're not under burn bands. I'll show you that. In fact, most of the state is under low. There's only 3 burn bans that are currently in effect, and I doubt you guys are watching from Miller, Hempstead, and Ashley County. But those are the only counties that are included in burn bans. So I'll show you right now. Windows, there you go. There is your burn ban list. 3. That's it. Wildfire danger is pretty low across the western portion of the state. And not many issues with burn bans now. It's amazing how the weather changes the script and flips it. Okay, guys. Talk to you guys later. Have a good one and go Hogs. We'll see what happens. If things start getting interesting mid to late week next week, we'll be watching. Deer hunting will be good over the weekend. That's for sure. Okay, later, guys. Have a good one. Jason, good seeing you on here. Yeah, big system coming in on the West Coast for sure. And that system will be bringing us rain Thursday into Friday. Take care, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.